I'd like to welcome Clay Nelson to the Sports Connection. He'll serve as South Warren's place kicker in 2011. Clay, thank you for coming by.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good to meet you, Clay.
Nice to meet you, too.
Well, how are things going so far in camp from the players' perspective?
From the players' perspective, it's rough. We'll start with that because not a lot of us have become used to the varsity pace that you have to keep going in a first-year team. As my dad mentioned, we did play junior varsity only last year, so that was kind of a little, coming in is just a little rough.
Yeah.
So as the players get more motivated, the seniors kind of just pick things up, and it's getting easier.
Clay, you're obviously, you've played soccer in the past at a very high level, place kicker. It's so critical at the high school level because these games can be so close, and a lot of teams don't have the benefit of having a kicker that can actually kick. It could be a lineman that can kick it straight on and maybe hit it, maybe not. But just kind of talk about, how you have evolved as a kicker and some of the things you've done to, make yourself a better place kicker.
Well, especially the soccer playing did help.
Yeah.
Knowing the speed, the angles, and stuff like that did help. And just kind of, you have to go off feel. If you don't have the right feel, you're not going to make the kick. I could go on for days telling you technique-wise about how to kick a football, but it's all about hitting the sweet spot and coming in and knowing and trusting yourself that you can make the field goal. And, being a kicker only, it has its benefits,
yep.
But it is hard to stay loose for 3 hours in a game.
What do you do to try to stay loose during a game?
Well, we have a kicker's net, and snappers use it, and and punters also. And basically what you do is you just set your tee and you have either your other kicker or your holder, if he's available, hold for you, and you basically come up and just kick it as many times as you need. Stretching is a key part because if you're not loose and you're not getting into the motions, into the swing of things, you're going to go out there, you're going to be shaking, and you're going to be like, am I ready to hit this? Am I going to be able to hit this?
Do you practice like different scenarios? I mean, obviously you practice different ranges, but does it bother you if the game's tied 6-6 and there's 3 seconds left on the clock and they bring you in to kick the winning field goal? I mean, are you okay with that?
Well, it would be a lot of pressure, I would say. I've never played varsity football, but I have been around varsity kicking, at Greenwood, and then coming into JV last year was a big step, just being the kicker. But I would say that it would pose a little more, but you have to think about the fact that with me only, that is my one job, is to do this. And if I can trust myself, and if I can trust my snapper and my holder, they say good snap, good hold, good kick. And that's kind of what we're just trying to stick to.
I have to think that this team is very anxious to play the first varsity game. This is your first ever varsity game, so I got to think it's a little bit extra for you. Am I right on that?
You are. It's last year varsity, or JV, I've never played varsity, so coming in being the first year and my first year as the kicker, especially on the varsity level, is huge.
What did you learn about just how valuable was last year, just for the standpoint of learning what coach wanted,
mm-hmm.
and just getting time on the field together?
It was, it's hard to explain, but you had to really get the team aspect going. We didn't really come together until about the second or third game where we learned, okay, these guys are going to run the routes. I know our quarterback can throw me the ball. And especially on the special team side, we knew, okay, Clay can hit this. Our punter can hit to here. Our snappers are good. We've got a good holder. And coming together and playing is what's going to be our big key.
For you, as a senior, how much fun are you having? First of all, being able to share this with your dad as a head coach, a brand new program. You guys are kind of the pioneers.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you as a senior to be able to do this?
It means a lot. To be able to come out, and I know this is my last year at South Warren, obviously, because I'm a senior, but it's being the first year of varsity, kind of putting those two together just makes one big, just awesome feeling, I guess. And playing that first game on Western's Field will just be incredible.
That was part of my next question. You know, how excited are you to play on Western's field in that kind of atmosphere where, you know, it's the next day after the first week, so, you know, you're going to have more spotlight on you guys probably than maybe you normally would if you were playing on the Friday.
Yeah, it's, you know, obviously Western's a bigger field. More people have heard of, you know, oh, okay, the Rafferty's Bowl. Yeah, they've got a big turnout generally to the Rafferty's Bowl. Coming in and playing our very first varsity game, very first game, you know, that we'll play that season, that's going to be a big aspect. I'm really just, it's exciting, but I'm anxious. I want it to get here because I want to get the ball rolling and see what we can do.
Now, do you practice a lot on your kickoffs to in end zone? I mean, is that a goal of yours to, you know, get no returns type of thing? And I don't know how you stat that, but I guess
it's every kicker's goal. I'll just go ahead and tell you that. If you can go out there and kick a ball in the end zone, past the end zone, walk off, you've done your job. Yeah. It's hard to get to that point unless you've done it for a while. Yeah. You know, I haven't had to put it in the end zone, and last year it's hard to do. But I will say that adrenaline adds to a lot of your power, your strength, flexibility, and everything. So I'm kind of excited to see what I can do.
Yeah.
Before you go, what's the longest field goal you've hit?
Ooh, longest field goal I've hit is a 51-44 in a game.
That's awesome.
Not
Can I
bad.
ask you one more question?
Yeah.
If you ever get an opportunity where the ball kind of bounces around and you got to pick it up and run, you gonna be looking forward to that?
I would love to, but a lot of things would be holding me back.
Well, let's hope that scenario does not present itself, number one. Clay, thanks a lot for coming by. We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Clay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay tuned. You're watching The Sports Connection.
You know, Clay, Max Oldham was